evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Am I talking to myself?
Good evening.
Good evening, Siona.
Good evening,
Good
Siona.
evening.
Can we have everyone open your big, I need a big smile.
Yeah, good evening, Siona.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I want all this, like how Isha is doing. Let's make some noise and let's create that, we are standing in front of one another and
Oh, drum rolls.
yay.
Hey.
See, it feels so good, right? It looks like we're just standing in front of one another. Okay, so welcome to the 28th Toastmasters meeting of the Vasco Toastmasters Club. Before I start the meeting, I would like to mention some ground rules which we all know. Please switch off your mobile. We do not want any noise. As Toastmasters, we do not talk about sex, religion, and politics. Refrain from all this. Please put yourself on mute if you are not speaking. That I am sure the Zoom master will do it for us. Please turn off your video if you're stepping out of the meeting or if you see the speaker's bandwidth is lower. All right, here's a surprise for everyone. One of the best thing I have ever noticed in any meeting when I was in ICG is Ishan reading the mission of the club by heart. And I hand over to Ishan to read the mission of the club. Don't tell me, Ishan, that you have forgotten once you have reached USA.
Okay, thankfully I have two screens in front. Okay, a mission of a Toastmasters club is to provide a mutually supportive and a positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth.
Thank you so much, Ishan. Yes, this is what we all do and we all know about it. And I'm going to do this because, the mission is so very important to all of us. And it's so monotonous for only the SAA to read the mission. So we are going to take turns so that everyone knows it by heart. Right? Next time. Thank you, Ishan, for setting the tone. Well, before I hand over, with this, I announce the meeting as open and I hand over to the frame our most enthusiastic President, Toastmaster Abrar. Please
Thank
put your
you,
hands
Siona.
together. Wait, let's put our hands together with a round of applause. We are going to welcome him. More noise, please.
Thank you, Siona. Thank you, everyone. Distinguished Toastmasters, and guests. Good evening. Toastmasters International is a non-profit organization that teaches public speaking, communication, and develops leaders. Now, take a good look at everyone on your screens. This is the diversity that we present. Since 1924, we have been connected with a network of clubs across the globe. Goa is part of this network of clubs. In Goa, we have 10 clubs. Vasco Toastmasters is a community club, which is part of Goa Toastmasters. And Siemens Toastmasters is a corporate club. So it's open only to the employees of Siemens company. Now, every meeting has a theme, and today's theme is glossophobia. We have Toastmaster Usha, who will be presenting her or doing her debut role, I would say. Before we go ahead, I would just like to ask if Deepa Gosavi is a guest. If yes, then Deepa, could we hear from you? Maybe in a line or two, how you came to know about this particular meeting?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was having a class with psychology class with Shivani ma'am, Shivani Kenny ma'am. So She was putting a status, so I asked her what was that, and she told me. So that I told her, she told me that you can join. It is for free for the guests. So I inquired, and she sent me the link.
Thank you, Deepa. I hope you have a good meeting. We look forward to guests joining us in a meeting, and Shivani doing a wonderful job, although she's not here with us today. Now let's proceed. Do we have any other guests that are missing on? If not, let's go ahead. I would now like to hand over to Toastmaster Usha. She is a design engineer who loves to challenge herself. She is passionate about bike riding and she loves to do new things day in, day out. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Usha. Can we have a big round of applause for her? You may use those reaction buttons on your screen.
Visible?
Yes,
Yes,
you are.
Usha.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I am Usha Jaiswal. Before I begin, let me take a little bit long breath because I am there now. And I request all the members and guests to do the same. Can we have this? Okay. So, actually, I have a big fear that always make me to see. Now, I'm having a fear. Did I depress you? Or did I cause of the fear you always have in your mind? Do you have trouble speaking in public? Yes? Or have you trembled like I am trembling when you go on the stage and deliver your speeches? Wow, you're not alone. With more than 75% of people are facing this fear. Speaking in public is perhaps the most common anxiety experienced by general public. Speaking fear in public, it is referred as glossophobia in medical terms. Fear. Does this fear have any kind of creature or it has any like imagination? Can anyone describe me how does this fear look like? Does it have a big nails or big things or some kind of ghost? No, it's just an imagination. Fear. It is just in our mind. Fear. Fear is the number one reason why people shy away from public speaking. What is this fear that is stopping you from giving your best speeches? What is this fear that is holding you back from giving and achieving your goals you desire to do it? Do you wanted to conquer your fear? Or do you wanted to settle down and cry while you can't do it? Or you wanted to regret in your life? Well, no, at least I don't want to. I wanted to conquer my fear, my glossophobia. So here, today, I am a Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Usha Chester. Before I begin with the session, let me explain how the glossophobia are divided in. Glossophobia are divided into two parts. First, that manifests itself physically, just like trembling hands, or sweating foreheads and palms, or fumbling, or forgetting. The best part about this fear is that you can manage it. How? Do you want to know how we can manage it? It's simple. Just practice it. Practice your speech. Practice. Go and see in the mirror and practice how do you perform. You will come to know, you will be able to evaluate yourself, how you're performing. And let us talk about the second part of this fear. We call it, this fear is actually in our brain. It's just an imagination. We think we can't do anything. But why? I've always asked myself, why I do fear? Why I can't speak in public? What is that stopping me? Today, we are going to conquer this fear. Dear Toastmasters and guests, I am the Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day is like the host for the ceremony. I will be taking you to the ceremony. So before we begin, let me explain how Toastmasters meetings are conducted. Toastmaster meetings are divided into three parts. First, prepared speech session. Can you see? Okay. In this session, members prepare in advance and deliver their speeches, depending upon the topic and the project they have chosen. The second part of this meeting is fun-filled session. It is like we wanted to conquer, we wanted to challenge ourselves. And the second part, we call it table topic session. In this session, members and guests will have an opportunity to deliver 1 to 2 minute speech, depending upon the topic given by the table topic master. And the third part is the most important part of any Toastmasters meeting. It is called evaluation session. In this session, our hard works will be evaluated and we will be getting feedbacks. And this feedback somewhere in life is going to give us benefits. So now I think I am able to make you understand how the Toastmasters meetings are being conducted. So now to help you with this meeting, we have a tag team, which we call minor role player. The tag team consists of first, the timer, second, the hour counter, and the third is the grammar. Has anyone noted for how long I'm speaking other than the timer? No, right? Yeah, I understand. So to keep track of time spent by each member during this meeting, we have timers for the day. Toastmaster Akansha Pariyar. Toastmaster Akansha Pariyar, I request you to kindly come on the stage and describe your role. Toastmaster Akansha, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am Akansha, and my role as the timer is to keep time for all the speakers to ensure everyone speaks within their allotted time slot. Timing plays a very crucial role while we speak, as in real life, we don't have the luxury of speaking as long as we wish to, and thus have to keep our message precise and effective. Moreover, people with glossophobia or fear of public speaking, due to their increased anxiety, may take longer than required to complete the speech and can even wander off their topics a little. A time restriction would compel them to be precise and leave very little scope to go off the topic. In order to comfort the anxiety of the speakers, a grace period of 15 to 30 seconds would be given upon their request. Usually, in a Toastmasters meeting, we use timer cards to signal the speakers. However, taking the metaphor of a traffic signal, I decided to come up with a timer signal wherein for the prepared speech segment, for our first speaker, Toastmaster Anthony, a green signal will be shown at 10 minutes, which denotes the qualifying time. At 11 minutes, yellow signal denoting the target time. And at 12 minutes, a red signal denoting the finish time. For our next speaker, Toastmaster Varun, a green signal at 4 minutes, yellow at 5, and red at 6 minutes. For the last speaker, Toastmaster Meenal, a green signal at 5 minutes, a yellow signal at 6 minutes, and a red at 7 minutes. With regards to the table topics, green light will be shown at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. For evaluations, speech evaluations would be given a complete time of 3 minutes, thereby a green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. The general evaluation would be of 10 minutes, so green signal at 8 minutes, yellow at 9 minutes, and red at 10 minutes. Over to you, TM.
TM Usha, could you please unmute yourself? Yeah.
Thank you. Hello? Hello, Shivani. Can you tell me what is correct? Can I come in or may I come in? seminar? You are also confused. Okay, fine. We have timer in a Toastmaster meeting. Well, you see, we have timers. Timers are the one who we have grammarian from the beginning. So grammarians are the one who keep the track of good and also good usage of our grammar. So with this, I welcome Toastmaster Manish as performing the role of grammar. Toastmaster Manish, over to you. Grammar Toastmaster Manish.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'm Manish here. At the outset, welcome to the meeting. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I will take note of any misuse of the English language as well as any outstanding words or quotes, sayings or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. Please note the word of the day is anxiety, which means a feeling of worry, nervousness, or uneasiness about something with an uncertain outcome. So it is like contingent liability in accountant terms. An example would be, as she was overcome with anxiety while giving the speech, the crowd heard her voice falter. It also can be a strong desire or concern to do something or something to happen. So anxiety can be on two fronts. One is a fear, or it can also be a opposite, that is a desire to do something. So an example would be a person watched every opportunity with anxiety to free his country. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give a word of the day report and also the grammatical usage report when called upon during the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manish. Guys, you must have noticed there are many times we forget words when we stand on stage. It is just because of fear we have. It is some kind of parameter, or we can say it is because of our glossophobia. So we start using words or sounds like or we tend to repeat words. So in our Toastmaster, we have Toastmaster Arundus, who will be keeping track of us and Over to you, Toastmaster Arundus.
Thank you, Toastmaster Usha. Thanks for the introductions. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the art counter is to note words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including n, and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Usha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arundus. In schools or colleges, you must have remembered giving exams, and we wait for results. There are some students who used to be happy, and there are some who were never happy. I was one of them. I was never happy with my results. Today also we are going to get results. Our hard work will be evaluated, and we will be appreciated, and we are going to get feedback. So to evaluate us, we have the evaluator, Toastmaster Vishal Sharma. Toastmaster Vishal, he was also like us. He had a fear of glossophobia. And the first time when he stood on stage during his term as secretary in Protect Club of Vasco, and he experienced the fear. The fear, or we can call it the anxiety. And to tackle it and to handle it, he joined Toastmaster. With this, I welcome the General Evaluator, Toastmaster Vishal. Toastmaster Vishal, over to you.
So, Master, Am I audible and visible?
Yes, Vishal.
Thank you, Zoom Master. Thank you, Toastmaster Usha. A very good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I am the General Evaluator for today's meeting. My role as the General Evaluator is to evaluate everything that takes place during the club meeting. In addition, I'm also responsible for conducting the evaluation portion of the meeting, and I'm responsible for the evaluation team, that is, the speech evaluators, our counter, grammarian, and timer, when handed over by the Toastmaster of the day. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Usha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishal. So now it's time to begin with our first session, which we call it prepared speech session. The first member performing the first speaker for this round is Toastmaster Anthony. Toastmaster Anthony will be to evaluate his speech. We have Toastmaster Shrena. Toastmaster Shrena, I request you to please read out the objective of Toastmaster Anthony's project. Over to you, Toastmaster Shrena.
Thank you, Toastmaster Usha. My speaker, Toastmaster Anthony, is doing his reflect on your path speech, the last speech, to complete his path from presentation mastery. The purpose of this project is for the member to reflect on his or her growth during the completion of entire path. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspects of his or her growth during the completion of a path. You have 10 to 12 minutes, Toastmaster Anthony. One step at a time, Toastmaster Anthony.
Toastmaster of the day, with your permission, may I request our timer to explain how the timing indication will happen? Would it be screen sharing or would it be through the video?
Timer, please do the needful.
Could be through screen sharing. So I request the Zoom master to allow me to share my screen.
The
Could you
rights
just-
have already been given to you, Akansha. Could you please trend?
It says host has disabled the participant's screen sharing.
I'm sorry for the awkward silence, but do we have the problem resolved?
I'm unable to share my screen.
May I recommend that you can make her the co-host?
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, I'm.
Could you try timer?
Yeah, could you try now, please?
Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Fine. So you would share it at the 10th minute, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'm just asking so that I know how to put my windows in the format. So you'd be stopping, you'd stop sharing around, right?
Yeah, I've paused the share.
Is it only me or the others can also see the screen being shared?
I can see it, yeah.
Yes, Anthony, it's visible.
Right. So, Akansha, you would be sharing the screen only when it's the 10th minute, right? Or you would
Yeah.
keep it like this? Okay.
No,
That means you'll,
only the,
I'm sorry?
only the 10th minute.
Right. So you'll have to unshare now, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Once you do that, I'll start my speech.
Yeah.
So shall I start?
Yes.
Have you heard that quote? Hang with 5 lines. Okay, let me tell you. Hang out with 5 millionaires, you will be 6. Hang out with 5 traders, you will be 6. Hang out with 5 crazy people, you will be 6. Hang out with 5 lions, you will be 6. If you hang out with successful people, they will brainwash you into believing that you can do anything, you can achieve yourself. Dear Toastmaster, we have such member, Toastmaster Anthony, who is whom I feel we should hang on. Because when I asked him how he conquered his fear, he said he never had any fear. So guys, if you wanted to tackle your glossophobia, let us get connected with Toastmaster Anthony. Toastmaster Anthony by profession is a French professor and a past president and present area director. With this, please help me welcome Toastmaster Anthony. Toastmaster Anthony, one step at a time, Toastmaster Anthony.
Back in 2015, I was at YMCA. This was December 2015. And I was asked, would you join Toastmasters? My response to that was, yes, I am joining right away. In January 2016, I was a member and I was standing there to give my first speech. And whilst I was doing that, I said, though many people join Toastmasters because of glossophobia, because they want to get over this fear of public speaking, well, me on the contrary, I was standing there because I had to learn to shut up. Fast forward to 2020 at a table topics contest. I was speaking and I was told to stop. I was told that there was an issue with the timer. And a speech that I had to stop at 2 minutes, I had gone for around 5 minutes. So with the objective that I started and with the situation that I am in or the place that I am in, have I actually realized my objective that I started with? We'll see. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, I am here to reflect on what an amazing journey it has been through the Toastmasters Pathways program and my first path, that is presentation mastery. When I started my Toastmaster journey, I had more hair on my head and less weight on my body. But one thing that was constant was the desire to excel in the craft. And the same desire stands valid today as well. Back in 2020, when I had the opportunity to work with the fellow members and create the Vasco Toastmasters Club, it was my first time at leadership. A trail that I tried not to walk on, something that I always kept behind. You see, I was a communicator, but not a leader. And through the Toastmasters Pathways program and precisely presentation mastery, it has helped me along with the allied roles to overcome that fault or that problem that I had. The first thing we are always told when we have to select a path is go and check on Basecamp. You have to take a survey or probably speak to your mentor and decide which path you want to take. I must confess, back in 2018, when the Pathways was unrolled, I was the first one to shy away from it. And I said, I'm happy with my CCCL and I don't want to do Pathways. But it was the time when I really had to. And guess what I do? I go online, I select, I take the survey, I check, I read everything, and I select the path without any choice. At an impulse, I said, I want to go for presentation mastery. So ladies and gentlemen, my journey with the path that I am in starts there. And as I close towards my final speech into this path, I wish to highlight some of the accomplishments that I could achieve because of this path. The first being allowing me to approach different projects and to choose different projects in the presentation mastery assisted me in winning the best speaker and best table topics speaker award at the contest, the club contest, and also the area. It was because the Basecamp is set in such a way that it allows the LMS, that is the learning management system, to help and to assist the speaker and the participant along the way. You know what? I don't know what you may think, but I had never won a single award right from 2016 when I joined Toastmasters. Yes, definitely best speaker, best table topics, all that is done. But at a contest, never. It was my first time in 2020 that I actually won an award. I've been told, yeah, you're good and all that, but there was never an award to validate that. Now you may say you don't need awards to validate that, but my self-esteem needed it. Okay. And that is what the Toastmasters brought to me. Skills and competencies that I've learned during the different projects and the interactions that I've had permitted me to propel my energy in the right direction of Toastmasters. In fact, as the charter president of Vasco Toastmasters Club and along with the XCOM, as a leader, I was successful in a way to get our club the status of President's Distinguished in its first charter here. And that I feel I should be proud of. Now, it doesn't end. The Toastmasters journey is not only about being into the skater, it goes beyond. And I must also tell you how it has helped me outside my Toastmasters setting. Outside the Toastmaster setting, I have noticed that I carry myself with a much controlled, uh, with a much control over the body language. In fact, building a demeanor that suits the situation that is presented to myself is a skill that I've picked up over a period of time. Not the anxiety that persists anymore, but it is the confidence that has been built and has been revisited over and over again. Another quality that I must tell you that I've gained from Toastmasters and I have taken it outside is being meticulous, reading each and every line. You send something to me, I will ensure that I'm going through it, reading it properly with full attention. Now, earlier it started as a good practice, but now it has become a habit, to some an annoying habit. In fact, at workplace, sometimes I'm said I'm known more as a Toastmaster than my other roles, even at workplace. So I think this unsolicited advice that comes from me about Toastmasters and the PR that goes with this is something that has kind of made me a brand ambassador of the skills that Toastmasters gives. And I must thank the pathways, the presentation mastery path that I had gone for, because that was one that added value. And finally, when I speak about Toastmasters adding value outside my uh, Toastmasters setup, it has helped me with conflict management. There were so many projects during my path that helped me into resolving conflicts, into having different viewpoints, into countering different viewpoints, into convincing and persuading. That added value. Now, having spoken of what Toastmasters has done to me beyond the Toastmaster setup, the learnings that have come through my last part, definitely one has been the with the Basecamp accessibility, the learning part, the learning mode has been as per my requirement. The details of interrupters and what are the different types of hecklers you will find is what I have learned in this path. I have learned how to conduct a panel discussion, a well formulated panel discussion, and how to ensure that there is no polarization or domination by a single speaker. And in doing so, the path has also assisted me into active listening. And when I say active listening, I'm speaking of not just convenient listening, but rather listening to understand and listening not only to respond. In having said that, I think completing my levels also helps me to bring credibility into my journey as a Toastmaster. In fact, in doing all this, the impact has been phenomenal. It has brought a sense of discipline in my life and being very organized, not just for me, but for the other stakeholders in whatever I do is a fact, is a truth that cannot go unnoticed. Improved and increased network, the set of network that we have has gone beyond just the numbers. It has added value and it has been a part of the assistance that comes and beyond the Toastmasters realm, motivated as a leader, because a leader is what I needed to be. A communicator is what I was. Put it together and you get a perfect Toastmaster. Today, as I finish my path, I have a vision for myself and I have a vision for the club as well. I wish to improve on my spontaneity with focus on researched content. I've noticed that I can speak over content that I'm comfortable with. But researched content and quality content is something that I wish to bring to the table. Use of time management that has been learned, I feel maybe I need to put it in practice so that there is an impact that I not only have for myself, but also on my other stakeholders. I always say selling skills, that is sales, is not my cup of tea. But today, I wish to drink from this cup. I wish to improve in my future projects, my persuasive speaking as well. For my club, I am looking forward to creating a pool of mentors, quality and trained mentors, thereby increasing the quality and improving the quality of the club. As I close my levels today, ladies and gentlemen, bringing about visibility to Toastmasters in and around Vasco is going to be on my list for the months to come. Having completed this path, it's going to be a start of another journey. It's going to be start of another path. And in doing so, I really, really want to get closer to getting my Distinguished Toastmaster tag. And also, you see, like I told you, it was very hard for me to win contests. I wish to go higher in winning this contest. As we close on my reflection about the path and the journey that I've had that I started in August 2020, I wish to remind you about a Greek myth, and that's the myth of Sisyphus. The myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus was cursed by the gods, and he had to take up a boulder up a hill. And once he's there, the gods told him, let it roll down. And it rolled down. Then the gods told him, go back and take the boulder up. And in doing so, it was a continuous circle. It never stopped. So the myth of Sisyphus is all about doing things over and over again without really being involved and only getting the same result. So today, I wish all the Toastmasters a journey wherein every time you do a role which is repetitive as well, a speech that could be repetitive, try to add value, try to add novelty, and go to the depths of what the possibility and what the profits could be from that particular project. Think about completing a journey. Today, as I take one step at a time, I wish all of you good luck into completing your journey of Toastmasters rather than just merely finishing it. With this, I hand over control to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Usha Jaiswal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anthony. Toastmasters, good news. Toastmaster Anthony has completed his level 5. Let us congratulate him by giving a big round of applause. Congratulations, Toastmaster Anthony. Toastmasters,
Thank you.
I request you to please maintain 1 minute silence for the feedback. You can give the feedback in chat box also. Timer, please tell us when 1 minute is over.
Toastmaster, 1 minute is up.
Thank you, Taiwo. So, the second speaker for this round is Toastmaster Varun. To evaluate his speech, we have Toastmasters Vayanai. Toastmasters Vayanai, I request you to please read out the objective of Toastmasters Vayanai project. Over to you, Toastmaster Vayan.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guest. My speaker, Toastmaster Varun, is going to give his icebreaker, which is level 1, project 1 of his path, motivational strategies. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. All the best, Toastmaster Varun. Toastmaster Varun, who am I? Toastmaster Varun, Toastmaster Varun, who am I? Who am I? Toastmaster Varun.
Thank you, Toastmasters Vayan. You are the artist of your own life. Don't hang your fingers to your Glossophobia. Toastmaster Varun is one such artist who believes motivated should be always greater than fear, and that helps him getting back on the stage. With this, I request Toastmaster Varun to come on the stage and present his speech. Toastmaster Varun, who I am, Toastmaster Varun. Over to you, Toastmaster Varun.
I recently met a friend from school and we had a gala of a time. But then she said something that made me overcome with anxiety. She said, "You have changed. You're different from the kid that I remember from school." I started to think about what she meant. What had changed? Was I not authentic? Was I wearing some sort of an effigy now, or was I closeted back then? I had no idea. My dear Toastmasters and guests, they say behind every mask is a face, and behind it is a story. Since that day, I've been trying to find out the answer to the simple question that plagued me. Who am I? I reached out to a few friends and family members and asked them to describe me. Their replies baffled me. There were a few that thought that I was a shy kid that seldom speaks, while the others thought that I was just physically incapable of shutting up. There were a few that thought that I was easygoing and carefree, while the others thought that I dabbled a little bit too much in overthinking. Kind, funny, romantic, mean, irritating, boring. I'm sure if you tried this exercise, you too would get similar results. Isn't it weird to think that so many different versions of us exist in everyone's heads? But which from the smorgasbord of behavioral adjectives is the truest reflection? In my search, I came across a Japanese proverb, and it said, each one of us has three faces. The first we show to the world. The second we show to our friends and family. And the third we don't show it to anyone. It's this last one that's often said to be the truest reflection of who we are. Seems profound. But then by that logic, asking my friends and family who I was no more than a fool's errand. So I moved on and thought of taking up a personality test to figure out what my truest reflection is. So I took up the DISC test, and the results were perplexing. They told me that I am by nature a conscientious personality, a quiet, analytical, task-oriented person, obsessed with perfection. Now, this wasn't the surprising part, for I am the kind who maintains a checklist and makes sure that it gets completed. Now, the surprising part was that they happened to tell me that in an external environment, I tend to be more of an influencer personality. Someone who's enthusiastic, optimistic, and energetic. I got anxious and double checked the results, but they told me that the results were right, even though the contrast was so stark. But how can someone who is so timid, so obsessive, be someone who's also so cheerful and so free? Was it the fake it till you make it scenario? Or was something else at play? My search through these murky waters took me further to the proverbial ship of Theseus. This is a thought experiment that posits that if the ship of Theseus is stripped and replaced part by part, is it still the ship of Theseus? Or if a new ship that is built from all the salvaged original parts, the real ship of Theseus? It's a tricky one. And the same is applicable to us. We change over time, physically and mentally. I have expanded and contracted my body so many times that I can play the role of an accordion flawlessly in a movie. But at the same time, my thoughts and ideas have also changed and evolved from when I was a kid. And this will continue to happen till the day I cease to exist. Does that really mean that I have changed to the extent that I no longer am Varun? In this moment of catharsis, I realized that the way people perceive us, or indeed the way we project ourselves, is just a discrete point on a continuous timeline, which is governed by a lot of variables like the social situation, your experiences, your choices, your emotions, just to name a few. No wonder it looks like we wear different masks all the time. I think the answer to who I am is not solely an introspection, and neither is it solely an external perception. Well then, who am I? I am a summation of all my experiences. I am the outcome of all my choices. I am the manifestation of all my emotions. I am the hero, the villain, and the side character in the different stories. I am the hope of my future and the fond memory of my past. I am who I am supposed to be, and there's no one else I'd rather be than me. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Varun. That was a wonderful speech. So now, I request all the Toastmaster members to please maintain 1 minute silence for the feedback. You can give your feedback in the chat box. Guys, remember, those feedbacks are the one of the most important part of speakers. Okay. Some speakers can be benefiting. So do write your feedbacks. Timer, please let us know when 1 minute is over.
One minute is up, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Timer. The third and the last speaker for this round is Toastmaster Meenat Palu. To evaluate this speech, we have Toastmaster Ishan Varnikar. Toastmaster Ishan Varnikar, I request you to please read out the objective of Toastmaster Meenal's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Ishan Varnikar.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and my speaker, Toastmaster Meenal. It's a pleasure evaluating you. All right, so let me see. Okay, so the purpose of your speech is for the member to practice the skills needed to effectively use public relations strategies for any group or situation. It is also for the member to share some aspect of his or her public relations strategy. The title, okay, your time is 5 to 7 minutes. The title of your speech is The Planned Public Plan. Good luck, Toastmaster Meenal.
Have you heard that quote? Guru Govind do khari, kaaki lagi sai. Balihari Guru aapne Govind diyo batai. It says, if teacher and God both are standing in front of me, who should I greet first? He says, it is teachers, it is because of teachers teaching, we are able to see the world. Toastmaster Meenal. Toastmaster Meenal by profession is a content writer and my mentor. Mentors are the ones who support us, who guide us, and who pushes us to face our fear. With this, I welcome Toastmaster Meenal to present her speech. Toastmaster Meenal, the planned public plan, Toastmaster Meenal.
Okay, before I begin my speech, let me just quickly check if my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
And I believe you'll also have to give multiple sharing rights so that the timer can also do it simultaneously.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Timer, please begin now. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Since you've heard the purpose of my speech, can I quickly have you maybe unmute yourself or put in the chat box? What is it that you think I would be speaking about today? And real quick, some random answers. You can unmute or maybe share in the chat. Yes, yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. This shows that your listening skills need to be improved because the purpose of my speech said public relations strategy. Let's start from the basics because I think that is something I need to start from. So, what is public relations? Is it just a field or a profession? Or is it just a part of media? Or is it just what the title states? And if you Google the very same definition, this is exactly the definition that pops up. The professional maintenance of a favorable public image. Now, often I have wondered, why is it that you need an expert or an agency to do that for you? I mean, be it individually or be it as a brand or as an organization. Having served as the past VPPR of Vasco Toastmasters Club, having also been a part of the PR and newsletter team of Division G, and also being the VPPR of Goa YMCA Toastmasters Club a couple of years ago, here are a few learnings and my understanding of public relations that I'd like to share with you. What is public relations? If I were to explain this in the simplest of manners, a set of strategic communications used for creating visibility, brand positioning, reputation building through storytelling. Now, these are certain terminologies or jargons used in the industry, but if you look closer, these have certain words that you can pick and understand what public relationship is all about. But what I'd like you to focus on, especially, is the last point, because that is where my profession has taught me a lot. Being a content writer, I have dabbled on and off into the field of public relations, and though it's not my core expertise, I have picked up quite a few nuances from there. And that is exactly where I learned that storytelling is an extremely critical aspect of public relations because stories hold the power to educate, inform, and to create awareness over than just selling something. Now, let me quickly help you out with understanding how public relations work. Now that you have a brief idea of what is public relations, maybe try and relate back to the purpose of my speech of sharing strategies. The 5 Ws and 1 H. For some of you who might be unaware, I am a bachelor's in journalism, and this is in fact something that we studied way back in college that I'd like to share with you today. 5 Ws and 1 H. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Basically, who are we talking about? What did they manage to do? When, the time frame? Where is the geographical location? Why did they do what they did? And last but not the least, how did they manage to pull it off? This is in fact a classic formula to garner maximum media coverage in the most minimalistic use of words. Because in media, and especially in public relations, space is everything. So if you can manage to convey your message in the least amount of words, there is a higher chance that your story will get big. Now, here are a few popular mediums that I would like to recommend, and especially because this is something that has worked for me in the past in the various public relations strategies that I have planned. One of the most common ones being event listing. Publications and magazines across have an option for you to list your event or activity, even if it's a workshop or a session, free of cost. Second one is press releases. This is where the 5 Ws and 1 H fits in perfectly. You can tell your audience that you have either had an event or you are having an event and they are invited to join in. Special stories. Now, a lot of magazines and newspapers also have the provision to feature certain stories. For example, a couple of years ago, when Goa hosted the semi-annual district conference, we tied up with a business magazine and they helped us with publishing stories about Toastmasters for 6 months before the event. That is something that will help you generate a lot of visibility. Social media. Now, this is a platform where the world lives virtually. And I kid you not, today, there is an entire digital marketers course just to understand the way you can get publicity or coverage on social media. And this is one space where you have to collaborate maximum with thinkers, designers, creators, and of course, content writers. Last but not the least is WhatsApp, a very, very popular messenger app that we very often neglect or undermine. But if you realize that's one of the fastest news sharing mediums. So when you share information on WhatsApp, you can just simply start by sharing it on the groups that you're a part of. And these are the things that you can do either as a part of your Toastmasters PR journey, or if you're the media spokesperson for your company, your university, or institution. Because you can use a set of these, one of these, mix and match, whatever works for you and suits your purpose. There are a few more, and in fact, some of the most powerful ones are radio and television. But unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to dabble into that myself, so that is something that I've not picked up. Now, one thing that I must confess, the PR ROI. Every public relations strategy will only give you a return on investment if you follow diligently these 3 C's. Clarity. Identify not just the target audience that you want to reach out to, but also the communication that you want to share with your respective target audience. Consistency. This does not mean that you keep a track of just the frequency or the number of times that you're doing it, but also maintain consistency in the messaging that you're sending out. And last but not the least, credibility. Now, if there's one thing that can make or mar a reputation in public relations, it's fake news. So whenever you do send out information, make sure your strategy has facts and can be validated. Oh, and I almost forgot, but this is one thing that you shouldn't forget as a public relations manager or strategist, to share your contact details. Just the basics, just in case somebody else wants to get in touch with you. Now, I do know of a couple of people in this very same room who are keen about public relations and want to get into this field, but are hesitating. Now, these are a few basic tips and tricks that you can keep in mind just to accelerate your journey for now, or give you that first push, because the planned public plan is something that you can create from scratch. But giving yourself that push is something that this could probably be your motivation for. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Neil. That was a wonderful speech. So, I request all the Toastmaster members to maintain 1 minute silence for the feedback. Timer, please let us know when 1 minute is over.
One minute is up, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Timer. With this, we have come to an end of prepared speech session. I request Timer to tell us whether all the speakers have qualified for the voting.
Yes, they've qualified.
Now I request Zoom Master to raise the poll for best speaker for the day. Zoom Master?
Yes, Toastmaster of the day, Usha. Here we go. Okay. Toastmaster Anthony, could you help me with this? It's showing me it's logged in from another device.
Okay.
If you could launch the poll from your side.
It may not be possible for me because I'm logged from my personal ID. If Abrar had started the meeting, who had started the meeting?
I had started the meeting, but it shows me I've logged in from another device as well.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's up there. Can everybody else see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Toastmasters, please do vote for best speakers. Was it on?
Done, Usha.
Thank you. So now let us move forward with the another session that is called table topic session. So before we begin, let me tell you one story. Not a story, it's kind of conversation. A few days back, I had a conversation with Toastmaster Anthony. And when I asked him how he conquered his fear, and something he said, which I think I should share with you all. He said, if there is something you to fear, and if you wanted to get rid of that fear, what you make attempts to do it, right? You may feel a fall, but every time you get up. So with this, let us kill this fear. How? By participating in table topic session. Let us challenge ourselves. So let us move into table topic session. To conduct this session, we have Toastmaster Farkun Anwar as a table topic master. Toastmaster Farkun Anwar, he has a unique technique to tackle his glossophobia. When I asked him how he handled his glossophobia, he said, whenever you get chance, speak, whatever the reason. Whether you are scared or not scared, but opportunities come, you speak up. So with this, I welcome Toastmaster Farkun Anwar to conduct this session. Over to you, Toastmaster Farkun.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Hope I'm visible and audible. Anyone can give me a feedback?
You are visible and audible and more.
Yeah. So one small correction. Actually, you can pronounce my name as Furkan. The spelling is always giving a confusion. Okay.
Sorry for that.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, for such a wonderful introduction. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, good evening. Best way to overcome glossophobia is to give a try. And the best way to give a try is to participate in table topic session. One of the most exciting portion of Toastmaster meeting is table topic session. The main objective is to challenge members to develop their impromptu communication skill by answering unrehearsed questions. In table topic session, we also give an opportunity to the members who didn't participate in any role to speak up. Table topic session is especially designed to develop 4 communication skills. First, first listening, then thinking, then organizing, then speaking. Here, your responses should be less than a minute and not more than 2 minutes. In 1 minute, you will see a green card. In 1.5 minutes, you will see a yellow card, and at 2 minutes, you will see a red card. I also encourage all the participants and all the Toastmasters who are going to speak in the table topic session to use the word of the day. So let's begin. Today, in the table topic session, we will simply have a fun making stories with the words. I will give a set of 3 words which you can use to make your own story. Hope you are able to understand. I will give you a set of 3 words and you have to frame one story to tell. So the first 3 words are glossophobia, speech, and memory. Anyone who wanted to do a volunteer or okay, if no one, then I will choose from the audience. So Nigel, do you want to give a try? Toastmaster Nigel.
Hey Furkan, good evening. Tell me, what's the topic?
Yes, so here 3 words are there. You have to frame a story out of it. So
Okay.
first word is glossophobia, the second is speech, and third is memory.
And third is memory.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have the timer on my screen? Like, will it be shared, the screen?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Toastmaster, table topic master. It's glossophobia, memory, and
Speech.
speech. Okay. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. When was the last time you held a glass in your hand and you raised a toast to all the Toastmasters? And then at the end of the day, you realized that you were in a dream. You were in a dream that you remember so vividly that each and every Toastmaster in the room, and somehow it felt real. When you wake up, you realize that that dream is an infinity loop. As you walk into each dream after each dream, you begin to realize that you're the person that is walking onto the stage with a glass in your hand, going up, but the words don't come out. And so finally, when you come out of the inception of your dream, you begin to start looking for answers. And that's when you walk into a Toastmasters meeting, and that is where the word glossophobia gets shown by the table topic master and tells you, hey, do you have an idea? Do you have a memory of what you actually did? Toastmasters and guests, I have an idea, but I also have a dream that the next time I have a glass in my hand and I'm toasting to all the Toastmasters in the room, I can actually speak and not be afraid of saying the toast. Over to you, table topic master. I also want to know who prompted you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nigel.
You can send it to me on direct message.
No one has done. We are having a watch that who is not participated in any role, then he must speak in the meeting. Thank you, Toastmaster Nigel. Moving to the second topic, the second set of words are sunshine, beach, picnic. Any volunteer, or should I choose someone? Sunshine, beach, picnic. Okay, Toastmaster Abrar.
Hi, Furkan. Sunshine.
Beach, picnic.
Okay, and I need to share a story.
Yeah.
Timer cards are visible. Good evening, everyone. I am a Goan. I was born in Goa, brought up in Goa, and stayed for most of my life in Goa. One thing, if you have traveled outside Goa to any other state in India, these three words will be thrown at you. And they are, can we plan a picnic to Goa? What are the other two, Furkan, if I may?
Sunshine and beaches. Beach.
Sunshine and beaches. Do you stay on a beach? No, we do not stay on a beach. Sunshine, yes, we love sunshine. And these are the three things which I think do not really define a Goan, but are mostly thrown up on most of the Goans who are outside Goa. Talking about this, the second thing what comes to my mind is I love beaches, I love the sand, I love the sun, and I'm just missing out on the three words again and again. That's it from me.
Beach and sunshine.
That's it from me. That's it from me. I'll pass.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abrar.
I would
Nice
just request, like previously how you had mentioned the 3 words, it would be nice if you could just mention it in the chat.
Sure. Thank you, Toastmaster Abrar.
Thank you for that.
Moving forward, so next set of words are rain, traffic, and music. I will put in the chat also. Rain, traffic, and music. Any volunteer? Okay, then over to you, Toastmaster Sivani Kenny.
Hi, can you repeat the words, please?
Rain, traffic, music.
Rain.
Rain. I have put in the
Rain,
chat
rain,
also.
traffic,
Chat
music.
also.
Okay. All right. Rain, traffic, music, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Shivani, you're in mute.
So sorry, I'll start. Rain, traffic, and music. Wow, what a combination. I don't know whether this is a depressing story or an interesting story because it has music, but at the same time, it has traffic and the traffic of Goa. Wow. Let's not even go there. And let's not even go to the place near my house, Kortalim Bridge. If I imagine myself on Kotarim Bridge with traffic and rain, and music may help me feel better, but I don't think it is covering the impact of Kotarim Bridge on me. Now, if I imagine myself in traffic in Panjim, then it is even more worse. So this 3 combination does not go that well for me. Although if the music is pretty chill and the music is something which has a very soothing music along with the traffic, or if I have bhajiyas with me in the car, then I think the combination would go slightly better. Like rain, music, traffic, and bhajiyas. So I believe I can change the story by adding one more component to it, which is also a chai. So if I have chai with me and I'm sitting in the car and it's raining and I have a good music, that would be a perfect combination. That's it from my side. Over to you, table topping master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sivani Kenny. Yes, this component we are missing. If chai is available, then it is like Sone Pe Suhaga. Moving forward to next 3 words, I put in the chat. So next 3 word is boss, appraisal, and feedback. Any volunteer?
Arul, I want Arul to volunteer.
Arul?
Yeah.
Boss, appraisal, and feedback.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anwar and Toastmaster Ishans. Yeah. Boss, appraisal, and feedback. It's straight away hitting my mind, like, and which field I'm working currently. My boss is really good. I'm not saying like he's too arrogant, but somehow the situations and the sort of vertical mode we are working, he never be act as a calm boss. Sometimes even I could see the Hitler from his actions. It's very rare phenomenon. Like he used to be act as a like a good advisor. I used to always think from my side, like, is it really required for that role? Because I never believe like the arrogance is the only way to control the situations. But somehow, recently I realized like even some of my colleagues also forcefully motivated to follow his footprints. I don't know when we could able to stop it, but unfortunately our appraisals are all depends on the vast feedbacks which we used to receive from all our customers who are using our products. Yes, there are many things comes from my thought, but yes, I would like to stop here. So thanks for that opportunity given by Toastmaster Anwar. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arul. We are with you in this pandemic and in this pain. Moving forward to the next topic. So next set of 3 words is lockdown, police, and groceries. Any volunteer?
Furkan, if I may, could you ask or request the guest
May
to
I?
try? Yes, Yana, you can.
Yes, thank you. I was reminded.
I think there is an issue with the network. We are not able to hear you properly.
Happened to me during the lockdown. I bought the stuff and my utter surprise.
Okay. Toastmaster of the day, are you able to hear Shiona properly?
No, I am not able to hear.
Audible now?
Hi, Shiona. There is an issue with the network.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
you
back.
can.
Am I audible now?
Yes. Now it is better.
I don't know whether you're.
It is better than the previous one, but it is still not the best.
Okay, I'll save it for the evaluation. Someone else can take it. Sorry.
Yeah. Then, yes, Abrar, you wanted to put something?
I just wanted to suggest if we could pick a guest, maybe we have a guest Deepa who's joined us for the first time.
Yes, Deepa, do you want to speak on this?
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the words?
Lockdown, police, and groceries.
So I never tried on this for such things, so I will do the attempt. So in the lockdown, police and groceries. Okay.
Yes.
So I was walking on the road. No, I was. Yeah. We had a habit of being a social. So because of the issues, because of the pandemic, there was immediate lockdown curfew in the state, in the nation and worldwide. So because of the lockdown, no one can roam here and there. So those people who used to roam on the roads, they were got beaten by the police, and people were facing the problem of buying things. So grocery shops were also closed. That's it.
Thank you, Deepa. I will request fellow Toastmasters to open up your mic and give a big round of applause for her.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Okay, timer, we are still on time. Is it possible to take one more topic?
Yeah, we are on time. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we can't take.
Yeah, we can take one more topic or not?
I'm sorry, we cannot.
Okay, okay, then that's it from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Furkan, for this wonderful session. Taimo, I request you to please tell us whether all the speakers have qualified for the voting.
Yes, they've all qualified.
Okay. Zoom Master, I request you to please raise the vote for the best table topic speaker. Zoom Master?
Abrar, if you could launch it, please.
Yes, Ashley, I've launched the poll. Three, two, one. Okay. Yes, Usha, it's done.
I hope everyone have voted for the best speaker. So before I move forward to next session, I would like to thank Toastmaster Ishan for correcting. Actually, I did a mistake. Toastmaster Meena is my friend. Is by profession content writer and my mentor in Toastmaster Ishan. Thank you, Toastmaster Ishan, for correcting me. So let's move forward with the next session, and that is we call it as evaluation session. In this session, this is one of the most important part of any Toastmasters meeting. In this session, we will be getting a constructive feedback by general evaluator. And this is, we will be going to get benefited in our life. So I would like to hand over the meeting to the general evaluator, Toastmaster Vishal. Toastmaster Vishal, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Usha. Let me start off with the first section, the speech section, the evaluators for the speech section. Let me call in the first evaluator, that is Toastmaster Siona, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Anthony. Zoom Master, can you spotlight Toastmaster Siona?
Am I audible, visible?
Yes, Siona. Toastmaster Siona, over to you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guest and my dear speaker, Toastmaster Anthony. I was transported back to our first meeting at Vasco, 1930 Vasco, over a year. How time flies, right? In just 12 minutes, you gave us a glimpse of your journey in completing a path, weaving around your communication and leadership skills. A journey right from joining for a reason, to learn to shut up, and fulfilling that at a contest. Lucky guy, I must say. You proudly highlighted all your accomplishments, especially making Vasco Toastmasters Club a President's Distinguished Club. Your skills and competencies that you have developed, and your journey even beyond Toastmasters, and now to being a leader in a leadership role. A fantastic accomplishment in 4 years as a Toastmaster. I love the fact that you have made yourself the brand ambassador of Toastmasters, and that's a proof of all your accomplishments. I liked the subtle humor in your speech. As always, you impress me with the plethora of words and phrases in your speeches. You have indeed evolved as an accomplished public speaker. Please take a bow. Wow! At the end of completion of a path, you have set a vision for yourself and for the club as well, telling us that Learning never ends because we learn one step at a time. You may wish to consider a few of my recommendations to your bucket list. Once you take the stage, own it. Do not waste your time to check. Instead, you can do it beforehand. Be proud of every achievement. I would have loved if you had to add completion of CC because you were part of the traditional and the new pathways. And you could have even given us a comparison of the traditional and the pathways. To summarize, great masterpiece with a bang in communication, great masterpiece of accomplishments in communication and leadership journey with excellence in your comfort and confidence. Right pauses, fantastic vocabulary, making the audience aware of the benefits of pathways, and with a good message. Manage your screen presence with a bang and be proud of all your achievements. Today you have finished a path. I wish you good luck in completing your journey as a DTM. All the best.
Thank you, Toastmaster Siona. That was an impressive evaluation. For the benefit of our guest, in a Toastmaster meeting, when a speech evaluator evaluates someone's speech, he or she employs the CRC method, that is commendation, recommendation, and commendation, wherein a commendation ensures wherein you give the good points about someone's speech. As in, for Toastmaster Siona, she commended Toastmaster Anthony's speech by mentioning about his journey, the subtle humor, the plethora of phrases and words. The recommendation was when you take a stage, own it and don't check. And the commendation was in wherein she winded up with all the good things and presented it with good feedback and asking for a good, wishing him good luck for his next path. Now I would like to welcome our next evaluator, Toastmaster Swayam. Toastmaster Swayam, can you check your audio and video?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Am I visible?
Yes, you are.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guest. As you know, Toastmaster Varun was giving his icebreaker. And oh boy, what a perfect title for an icebreaker. Who am I? But it did not feel like it was your first speech. In fact, you had the confidence of a veteran. When you took upon the spotlight, there was no room for anxiety. You started with a bang, with a positive body language. When you said, behind every mask, there is a face, and behind every face, there is a story. That instantly caught my attention. I was impressed to see the use of crop. Maybe the use of your t-shirt when you said overthinking, or the use of the checklist. You had a great use of vocabulary, and also you use the word of the day. Big up for that. Some recommendation that I would like to give you is to use of pauses. Sometimes it felt like you were rushing into your sentences. Pauses will help you help you to connect with the audience. The audience will collect your speech, collect the essence of your speech in a better way, and will be more knowledgeable about your speech. And also, if you try to sharpen your existing skills, that is your use of hand gestures. I was very impressed to see the use of hand gestures, and also your voice modulations. You went up when you had to go up, and you went low when you were say which the sentences which were very important or had a subtle meaning in it. You went low. We all were we all were eager to find out who are you, or who is the real you. Is it the one but this doesn't matter, because as you said, over time we change over time, mentally and physically. It cannot be the one you show to the world, or one you show to the to your family, or the one you are when no one is around. Lastly, I would like to congratulate you to completion of your project one, and what a sublime speech for an icebreaker. Thank you. Over to you, general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Swayam. That was an impressive evaluation once again. Lastly, I would like to call in Toastmaster Ishan, who is an evaluator for Toastmaster Meeral. Zoom Master, can you spotlight Toastmaster Ishan? Toastmaster Ishan, can you check your audio and video?
Test.
Yes, you're audible as well as visible. Toastmaster Ishan, you can go ahead.
All right. So stick to basics and you'll never go out of fashion, said once a great speaker, Toastmaster Ishan. I love the way you use the audience to your advantage. The very fact that you asked them what you were going to talk about kind of made them think of what's coming in. And I'm not sure if this was scripted, but when they went haywire, the way you transitioned into basics was phenomenal. I don't know if it was scripted, but it was great. One of the major challenges in a presentation, at least in my experience, is to keep the audience engaged for 5 to 7 minutes. It's really difficult because people are focusing on you as a speaker, on the slide at the same time. I believe personally you did a very good job keeping the audience engaged. I love the techniques that you used. So yeah, so you had a very good tweak right at the beginning. Your slides were catchy, but at the same time they were clear, concise. What you wanted to impart through your slide was clear, and it was short. But what you spoke on the slides was very detailed. So the visual aids were used very effectively. Another thing what you did very well was used alliterations consistently throughout your speech. One of them was the 5 W's 1 H: where, who, what, when, why, how. And there was another thing: clarity, consistency, and credibility. Both these were very catchy. I think it will help the audience to remember, and to it helps people take notes and make notes in your mind when you use such short forms and stuff like that. You covered the major aspects of public relations and strategy. I felt that you did cover efficient use of space, how to put in the most, and basically if you are able to use your space efficiently, you're doing a great job. That's as simple as that. And yes, and even when you ended your speech, you also connected with the audience, saying each one of the audience out there wants to enter this field. And that's somewhere as an audience, I felt connected to your speech there. A few recommendations which you could improve the speech further. I personally felt that you had too much content to cover in 5 to 7 minutes. I felt that at least for me as a listener, there were a lot of things which I had to note down. So I would probably see you speaking about, say, digital marketing which is very common and could connect really well today since everybody is virtual, and speak more on that. And secondly, I saw steps in your speech. So how you do this, what you do, what you need to do, but how you did that was missing. And as you said, I mean, as you said that stories are great, so steps are good, but when you storytelling is great. So overall, I think these are the two things which you need to improve. So alliteration, slides, and you had a lot of good stuff, but yeah, these two things can improve your speech more. To end, I hope, I mean, you are a professional content creator. I hope you will professionally maintain a favorable image of mine in Toastmasters fraternity. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ishan. That was great. Now, I would like to invite the grammarian for today's meeting, Toastmaster Manish, to give in his report. Zoom Master, can you spotlight Toastmaster Manish?
Hello.
Toastmaster Manish?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yeah, Manish, you'll have to just switch on your camera.
I did that. Yeah, am I visible?
Yes, you are now.
Wait, let me come. Okay. So today, to be very honest, I had a pretty tough time, but saved since I was in office. So I had the luxury of having the laptop open and at the same time listening to the speeches. Many of the words which I heard, I really had to Google. Also the stories, I had to at least understand what it is. Coming to the usage of the word anxiety, probably people had a lot of anxiety in using it itself. Hardly 3 people did that. Anthony did it once, Varun did it once, and Swayam did it once. When it comes to usage of words and proverbs and phrases, there were a lot of things I might have missed on some. Specifically, I do not know what was a problem with my connectivity when I was listening to TMO Usha. There were some issues and I really could not connect some of the words and some of the sentences that she spoke. So at the outset, Usha, you will have to, I seek your apology and you will have to excuse me on that. When it came to Anthony, the thing that I liked most of was having hair on head and less weight on body to begin with and reversing the trend as time passed. That was one thing which caught my attention. Second thing is, leader is what I want to be, communicator is what I was. So the change from that, or the effort in changing yourself from that particular aspect to be a leader, that certainly might have taken all the youngsters' mind. Also, the myth of Sisyphus, I hope I was correctly pronounced it, was one takeaway for me. On the usage of words, trail, allied, confess, impulse, self-esteem, propel, meticulous, polarization, ream, persuasion. These were some of the words that I could pick in your speech, which were different from the normal conversations that generally we hear. That was for Anthony's speech. When it came to Varun, again, both the speakers actually, one we should appreciate is that they were able to weave a story. And storytelling, before Meenal could emphasize on, these two people had actually put it into practice. So with Varun, what I liked was what Swayam just mentioned. Behind every mask is a face, and behind a face there is a story. Similarly, the Japanese proverb of 3 faces and the one that is not seen, how to figure out that. And also the ship of Theseus, which I really Googled and found out what it is. So these 3 were catchy pretty much for me. When it came to usage of words, seldom, antique, weird, profound, perplexing, conscious, personality, introvert, optimistic, anxious, contrast, timid, and murky, perception, manifestation, profound, were some of the words that I could pick in Varun's speech, which generally are missed in the normal conversations. When it came to Meenal, actually, Meenal, I'm very sorry. I was more, I got more into your presentation and less on your, what is it, dialogues, or less on your speech. So I might have missed the words that came to my the notice were strategy, jargons, dabbled, nuance, and the 5 Ws and 1 H, consistency, credibility. So these were the words that I could pick in Meenal's speech. With regard to Nijil, it was vividity and infinity. And with regard to Shivani, I'm lost with my own handwriting. With Swayam, plethora. So these were the words that I could pick during the things. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manish. Now, I would like to invite the timer, Toastmaster Akansha, to present her report.
Audible?
Yes, you are. Can you switch on
Sorry.
your camera?
No, I'm having some little issue with my laptop, so the camera isn't working.
Sure.
So with regards to my report, the first speaker Toastmaster Anthony, he took around 12 minutes, 25 seconds. The next speaker, Toastmaster Varun, took about 5 minutes and 47 seconds. The last speaker, Toastmaster Meenal, took 7 minutes and 45 seconds. With regards to table topics, Toastmaster Nigel took about 1 minute 45 seconds. Toastmaster Abrar, 1 minute 25 seconds. Toastmaster Shivani, 1 minute 23 seconds. Toastmaster Arul, 1 minute 43 seconds. And guest Deepa, 1 minute 5 seconds. For the evaluators, Toastmaster Siona took about 3 minutes 12 seconds. Toastmaster Swayam, 3 minutes 15 seconds. And Toastmaster Ishan, 3 minutes 24 seconds. That's his report.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Akansha. Lastly, I would like to call in the R counter for today's meeting, Toastmaster Arul Dos, to present his report.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Manish. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so let me share my screen just to show my reports. Can anyone give the feedback whether it is visible or not?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So yes, I have joined that discussions which happened before the actual meeting start. As I seen the conversation between the Toastmasters, which made me to feel really anxiety, because I thought that the counter role could be really tough for today's meeting, since I seen the fluency of the most of the Toastmasters, especially there was some slogans they were used, like something used by Ishion, like 3-inch story. Okay, but then I just tried to introduce my focus and try to capture some of the fillers which I captured here. Anthony Gomes, the speaker one, has used 2 times and 1 time he used into mind the repetitive word. And end of some phrases, the vocal sounds were not clear. And Varun Jadhav, yes, I couldn't find any sort of filler words. Meenal has used 1 time and Siona, I used 1 time and there was some phrase stuck up in between once. And Swayam used 1 time and 1 time for Swayam used 5 times and 3 times and he mentioned like who am I when he pronounced means when he stated that speaker title he got struck up once and he used like off of and also something like that. And Ishan has used 5 times and TMOD Usha has used so and 2 times some repetitive words like by profession, by professions. And table topping master Fukan used 5 times and 2 times and the G general evaluator Vishal Sharma used 1 time From the table topic sides, the Nigel and Shivani, I couldn't able to figure out any fellas. The speech was really fabulous. And Abrar used 1 time and Deepa has used 4 times and 2 times So rest everything is fine and just try to address these things and this will help you to improve your speech in the future sessions. Over to you, G. Toastmaster Vishal.
Thank you, our counter Toastmaster Aruldos, for your detailed report. This brings us to the voting section. Timer. Have all the 3 evaluators qualified?
Yes, they have all qualified.
And have all the 3 basic role players qualified as well?
Yes.
Zoom Master, can we launch the polls for the best evaluator first? And I would request all the members and guests to vote for the best evaluator.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Zoom Master, can we have the votes for the best major and minor role players? I would request all of you to kindly vote for the best minor role player.
Done, Vishal.
Can we have the vote for the best major role player? You'll take care of. Okay. This brings us to the final section, my evaluation. I have been anxious for this meeting for a long time. This is my first meeting after a very long time. Okay. So let's go. I'll go with the good things first. We were supposed to start on time, but we started a minute late. The Sergeant at Arms read the mission of the club. Instead, she did it in a different way. She asked Toastmaster Ishan to say the statement of the club, mission of the club. She got everyone involved by asking everyone to react the welcome. Then she handed over to the president. The president was kind enough to tell us more about our club as well as Siemens Toastmaster Club. How both the clubs are different. One is a community-based club, another is a corporate club. He introduced the Toastmaster of the day, the theme, and told us more about the profession of the Toastmaster of the day. He even interacted with the guest, Deepa Kosabi, I suppose. Yes. Then we move on to the Toastmaster of the day. An excellent job done by the Toastmaster of the day. Can we have a round of applause for the Toastmaster of the day for her first debut TMOD role? I would request everyone to kindly raise one year. Thank you so much. Toastmaster Usha, you introduced the theme perfectly. You told us about its origin, how it can be managed, how it can be conquered as well. You gave a brief about the 3 sections of a Toastmaster meeting. That was spot on. Then you called in the role players, the timer, our counter, and the grammarian. Please note a suggestion for you. Normally we say a tag role, but it's normally not a tag role. They are a specific segment. People have started giving them short forms, but we are not supposed to use them. It goes in this manner. You call the grammarian first, the R counter, and the timer. The grammarian has to be called in first. For that, he introduces the word of the day. So other members get to use it as well. The R counter and the timer use them, or else they won't be able to use it. So you can make a note of it. Then we move on to the basic role plays. I'll go with the timer first. Toastmaster Akansha, you explained your role perfectly, but I felt it would have been better if you had kept the screen on and you would have joined in the meeting a bit early. So you could have had that arrangement with the Zoom master if you could share the screen or not. Just moving in out doesn't, it hampers the flow of the meeting. It sounds very awkward when someone asks you to, can we have the timing signals, how you're going to put it, how you're going to shift it. You should have prepared it. You need to prepare for the role before you go about it. That is one suggestion. Next, I move on to the grammarian. Grammarian, the same thing I've observed with all the basic role players. You explained your role, you gave the word of the day, but you had your screen off. See, though it being a virtual meeting, it's always advisable to have the screens on because you are interacting with someone. If it is a normal call, it is fine, but this is not a normal call, it is a meeting. I would understand if you have a network issue or something, but when you can handle it, it is always better to have that kind of interaction because people are there to see you. It is a meeting for a reason. Lastly, the R counter. Explained your role perfectly, but the same thing, you kept your screen off. We move on to the speaking section. As the speakers have been already evaluated by the evaluators, I won't be speaking about them. But one thing to be noted, if there is an issue while there is a meeting, a speech is being delivered, it is the role of the Zoom master or the president to make a note of it beforehand. It is not the responsibility of the speaker to make corrections during the meeting. So the president or the Zoom master needs to make a note of it beforehand. There were constant hiccups during the meeting. Then we move on to the table topic section. Toastmaster Furkan, I like the way you presented the table topic session, how it can help the member develop their skills, how it develops them to become an effective speaker. I like the way you got 3 different words to actually, you gave them out and you asked the member or a guest to speak on them. But it would have been a little nicer if you could have given an example. For an instance, you could have given, say, you could have taken your first topic as glossophobia, speech and memory. You could have given an example how you're going to go about it. So it would have created a way how people are supposed to speak. Everyone was going in a different direction right now. The speeches were scattered all over. They were not giving a table topic as such. For a guest, it's fine. For the members, they need to know how they're supposed to deliver a table topic. Overall, a good initiative. Lastly, it was an amazing meeting, but we need to actually take into account that it is a meeting for a reason. You are here to develop. But if we continue, we don't look at these small things, the meeting gets scattered here and there. It doesn't look nice. With that, I would like to hand it over to the president, Toastmaster Abrar. Over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator Vishal. It was nice hearing from you and nice seeing you after a very long time. We have made a note of all the suggestions that you have given us. For the guests who have joined us, we have Deepa. Deepa, this is how the evaluation works, and we pay most attention to this. This is how evaluations are done within the well-defined methods by Toastmasters without heckling anyone. Thank you, General Evaluator. Now I will quickly launch the poll for the major role player. Sure it goes. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Now, I would just like to hear from Deepa before we proceed to the award section. Deepa, if you could unmute yourself and just tell us how was your experience with Toastmasters meeting for the first time, maybe in a line or two.
Yeah. For me, it was the first time to join such a meeting, means where everyone is given the opportunity to speak, and the one major point is they were given to an they were given a chance to correct themselves, and so that they cannot do the mistake further, and they are accepted as they are. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for
It was
joining
my
us, Deepa.
pleasure to
Thank you.
Yeah, it was my pleasure to join this meeting.
Thank you, Deepa, for joining us. Our Vice President membership, Ashley Fernandez, will get in touch with you and tell you more about how you can be a part of this fraternity. Now, I would like to invite the president of Siemens Goa Toastmasters Club, Furkan Anwar, to handle the award section. Zoom Master, if you could just share the screen. Over to you, Furkan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abrar. What a beautiful meeting we had today. And now it's time to make it better by presenting some of the awards. And today we are having two winners for best speaker. The first winner is Toastmaster Varun Jadhav, and the second winner is Anthony Gomes. A big round of applause for both of the winners. In the evaluation section, the best evaluator is Toastmaster Ishan. Moving forward for best table topic speaker, the award goes to Toastmaster Nigel Gomes. Next award is best major role player. So till now I am not aware, but the award goes to Vishal Sharma for best major role player. For best minor role player, the award goes to Toastmaster Aruldos. I really enjoyed the meeting and hope to see you again in the next meeting. And I think that we will carry this enthusiasm in our next meeting also. And the same energy, we will come back and we will prepare it also in a better way so that it will carry forward for a longer time. That's it from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster Abrar.
Thank you, Furkan. Indeed, it was a good joint meeting. It was a learning for us and for your team as well. Quickly proceeding towards a few important announcements that we have. Firstly, here we have two Toastmasters. Toastmaster Anthony Gomes. If we could highlight Toastmaster Anthony Gomes. And Toastmaster Swayam, who has completed level 1, and Toastmaster Anthony Gomes has completed his level 5. He had completed his level 5, and today he has finished an entire path, setting an example for us that you can be a leader as well as get an complete an entire level. And Swayam, who is a new Toastmaster, but still it's going well, I would say. Secondly, our next meeting will be on the 3rd of September. I would request everyone to get in touch with our VP Education, Shivani Kenny. Thirdly, Vasco Toastmasters Club is looking for guests and members to join us. So Deepa, as I had mentioned earlier, Ashley will get in touch with you and tell you more about the joining process. Apart from this, I think we had a good meeting. One thing that we will be caught on is time, and I apologize for that. With this, I officially adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone.